Does your back ever get tight when you do kettlebell swings? Well, I have a solution for you. First of all, I'll teach you something that you're probably doing that you need to get away from. And I'll teach you a better technique to kind of help improve your kettlebell swing so you'll learn how to do kettlebell swings properly and more effectively without having your lower back get tight or preventing any lower back issues when it comes to doing kettlebell work, kettlebell cleans, kettlebell swings. Now, what happens a lot of the time is that a lot of people don't have proper hip flexibility or hip mechanics. So what ends up happening is when the kettlebell begins to swing downwards, instead of pushing the hips back, what ends up happening is I'll just use this kettlebell as an example. As the kettlebell begins to fall down, or they bring the kettlebell between their legs, what ends up happening is they don't push their hips far back enough, and then they round at the lower back. And they sort of create this sort of movement where the arc of the kettlebell, that's the movement of the kettlebell, starts to move a little bit funny. And what ends up happening with the kettlebell is that they're going down too low. Basically, the kettlebell is going past their knees, and then they're rounding in like this. And really what you want is you want to focus on keeping your new spine in neutral. So that way when the kettlebell comes down, one way to look at it is making sure that the kettlebell does not go too far. It might go past your knees a little bit depending on your arm and knee and hip mechanics. But you remember that when you're coming down, you want to keep it pretty close basically to your crotch, close to your inner thigh. So that way when you're coming down, you're keeping your posture pretty strong. The thing that causes lower back tightness, one of the things that causes lower back tightness with kettlebell swings is what happens is they'll come down right here. You know, they'll come down too low because they're breaking at the spine. They're letting their spine flex during the swing, and then they're standing up very abruptly. And then what they're doing is they're basically flexing and extending the spine during a kettlebell swing. In reality, when you do a kettlebell swing, you want to make sure that your back is in neutral, and then you push your hips back more. I have another video coming up about hamstrings and on how to improve your hamstring flexibility, because that's one of the reasons why people have lower back issues. But until then, click like if you haven't already, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and if you like a free kettlebell workout from me, click the link on the screen somewhere or the link in the description if you are in mobile, and I'll provide you with a free workout program with kettlebells to help you with your kettlebell workouts to either build strength, lose body fat, or a little bit of both. Again, thanks for watching. This is Ryan Saplin, Fat Loss Strength Coach, signing out. I'll see you guys later.